Imagine you're a soldier. Your commander has just told you to put down your phone. The Israelis are inside it. They can hear you. They can track you. The device in your pocket has become a window into your entire operation. So you do the smart thing. You go low-tech. You get a pager. 1990s technology. No GPS, no internet, no camera, no way in. You feel safe. You don't start with airstrikes. You start here. 18 months earlier, by turning the devices in your enemy's pockets into invisible weapons. February 2024, Hezbollah Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah realizes his commanders are bleeding intelligence. Israeli operatives are tracking them through their own smartphones, locations, communications, operational plans, all of it compromised. Desperate to go dark, Nasrallah orders his entire network to revert to rugged, low-tech pagers. No internet connection, no trackable signal, no vulnerability, or so he believed. Hezbollah thought they were stepping off the digital grid entirely. Instead, they walked blindly into the most sophisticated supply chain infiltration in modern military history. Mossad didn't just intercept a shipment, they became the manufacturer. Israeli intelligence had quietly established a front company in Budapest, Hungary, BAC Consulting, which secured a legitimate licensing agreement with Gold Apollo, the real Taiwanese manufacturer of the AR-924 pager. On paper, every document was clean. Every transaction traced back to a real business. The supply chain looked exactly the way a supply chain should look. Hezbollah ordered 5,000 units. They ran security checks, physical inspections, X-ray scans. What they didn't find, what was specifically engineered so they couldn't find it, was a thin sleeve of PETN pressed flat inside the battery housing of every single device. Penta-erythritol tetranitrate, one of the most powerful plastic explosives in existence, non-metallic. No distinct chemical signature at standard screening thresholds, completely invisible to the equipment Hezbollah used to sweep the shipment. For months after delivery, Hezbollah fighters carried these pagers everywhere, to meetings, to operations, to dinner. They slept near them, and for months, Israel watched and waited. September 17th, 2024, 3:30 in the afternoon. A single encrypted signal was transmitted simultaneously to thousands of pagers across Lebanon and Syria, in markets, in hospitals, in cars, in offices. Across Beirut's southern suburbs, the Bekaa Valley, and pockets of Syria, Hezbollah's entire communications network detonated at once. 42 people were killed across both days of the operation. Over 3,500 were injured. Iran's own ambassador to Lebanon was among the wounded. The next day, as survivors gathered to bury the dead, it happened again. The walkie-talkies went off. What almost no one knew at the time was that Israel had been patiently planting explosive-rigged communications devices inside Hezbollah's supply chain for 9 years before detonating them. 9 years of infiltration, 9 years of patience. The funeral became the second wave of the same operation. They weren't improvising. Every single piece of this had been engineered years in advance. Now step back, because the pager attack wasn't just a military operation, it was a proof of concept. What it demonstrated, with devastating clarity, is that the United States and Israel have built an intelligence infrastructure so deeply embedded in their adversaries' supply chains, procurement networks, and communication systems that the enemy cannot perceive it, let alone defend against it. Think about what the operation actually required. Years of penetration into Hezbollah's purchasing networks, the legal capacity to build and operate shell companies across multiple countries, the engineering precision to hide an undetectable explosive inside a consumer battery, and the signals capability to trigger 5,000 devices simultaneously across 2 countries without a single premature detonation. That is not improvisation. That is institutional capability, patiently built and strategically deployed at exactly the right moment. And then came February 28, 2026. A coordinated U.S. and Israeli air campaign struck a fortified compound in Tehran. Iran's supreme leader, Ali Khamenei, the man who had directed Iranian foreign policy, funded Hezbollah, and orchestrated decades of proxy warfare across the region, was killed. Alongside him, senior ERGC commanders and key figures in Iran's intelligence apparatus. The geopolitical map of the Middle East changed in a single night. The details of that operation are still emerging. But the signature is the same. They had the intelligence, they had the access. They waited for exactly the right moment. The pager operation in 2024 didn't just wound Hezbollah. It destroyed their ability to communicate securely, dismantled their command structure, and opened the intelligence pathways that led directly to what happened in Tehran. Here's what I keep coming back to. Nasrallah told his people, "Your phones are compromised. Use something they can't touch." And the terrifying genius of this operation is that Israel may have encouraged exactly that belief. Let the intelligence spread that phones were the vulnerability, so that Hezbollah would migrate to the alternative that Mossad had already prepared. The cure was the trap. That is not just military power. That is a level of strategic patience and psychological precision that most militaries on Earth are not capable of. In modern warfare, you never see them coming, not until you're already holding it in your hand. If this kind of invisible, long-game warfare unsettles you, it should. And if you want to understand how far back this playbook goes, click the video on your screen right now. We're going back to the end of World War II, to a secret agreement between the US and Britain that violently betrayed 2 million people and was buried for decades. It's called Operation Keelhaul, and almost nobody knows it happened.